Feeling good? You here to relax? All right. And yes, I am Australian. I'm also American. I'm also Greek. So I have an identity crisis. But life is good. I've got the best of all the worlds here, which is really good. So guys, I want to share some inspiration for you today. And really, what I want to talk to you about, it's being the next level of sophistication. Now, I've been photographing professionally for 25 years. I absolutely love it. And over those years, I started off with wedding photography. And why did I start with weddings? I thought, well, everyone gets married, I can make money, life is good. I either wanted to be a photographer or a singer, so now I just sing at weddings, and that's basically it. But I wanted to photograph pretty girls because that's what you want to do when you're a young guy. But I did choose weddings because it was logically probably a better way to get into the industry because I could learn my craft. The cool thing about weddings is that you are doing almost every style of photography at a wedding. Wouldn't you agree? For those of you who've never done one or you're scared of doing one, you should be scared. It's a tough gig. Why is it like everything? Well, if you take the veil off the bride, it's a portrait. Take the clothes off the bride, it's boudoir. Get her pregnant, it's pregnancy, maternity. You have a baby, it's newborn. Grows up, it's children. I mean, really, you're covering the whole gamut. Like, don't get her pregnant. You know what I'm getting at. Like, it's, yeah. You giggled there, I'm like, oh, that was a bit awkward. All right, fantastic. All right, but it's been really, really fun. I've always enjoyed the idea of what we've been doing. Now, my first foray into digital was being able to scan negatives. So my very first camera was a Mamiya RB67, medium format film. Who actually was photographed on a medium format camera? Few of us, okay? We're showing our age here right now. But it was really, really fun. But you had to take 10 shots per roll of film with a Mamiya. If they blinked, it was your fault, right? And that's the way it was. I was given 200 photographs to actually play with, like 200 shots, so 20 rolls of film, and that's the way we started. And then at one point in my career, I actually would scan those negatives, and then you would do digital and so on. My first camera, in fact, was the Kodak DCS 760, my first digital camera. Do you know that one? Let me show you this one. Who remembers these cameras? This cost me $18,000. People think the cameras now are expensive. Guys, 18 grand. And you know what? It was like you had to shoot RAW only. I think it was like a few meg per file. And sometimes we think, oh, the cameras are so unsophisticated these days, or they could do better, and it doesn't have this, and it doesn't have that. I'm still freaking out about the fax machine. I still don't know how the fax machine works, let alone all the other technology that we have. But I'm saying is I was so committed to digital, although I loved film, that's the way I started. But we've come a long way. The cameras have come a long way. But remember this. How many times does a camera take a photograph? Who is the pro here? When was the last time that you actually had a beautiful meal from your mum and you said, Mum, that roast was beautiful, your oven must be amazing. She would slap the hell out of you, deservedly so. Guys, it is you. You are the photographer, you are the creator, you are the artist. Now, the tools that we have are fantastic. Now, this is actually a photograph that I took. This is with the Nikon D100. This is basically my first digital camera. This was like maybe 3 grand or 4 grand back in the day. And people tell me, well, I don't have enough megapixels, or how is your ISO on your camera? Guys, has anyone ever come up to you and said, I know what camera you've been shooting with because really there's purple fringing in the shadow areas. I really feel that you need to be doing this and this. So I get the fact that we are overly sensitive with technology, and we feel like it's all about the technical specs. And I'm here to tell you today, guys, it's actually a lot more about that. Especially when you're in a gear-rich environment like this, you're walking around, you're looking for that next little piece of gear that will change your life. You know what will change your life? Repetition, experience, and practice. Now, I've been preaching this stuff for many, many years, that it's the actual photographer, not the camera. I've got to tell you, though, with the introduction of the mirrorless, and I'm not here to just sell you the camera, guys, you buy it or not, I don't really care. I just care that you're having fun, you're making a living, and it's a fun thing. What I do know is that I've never touched a mirrorless pro camera before. I haven't. So to be able to do it, and to actually look at the nuances of what's possible in camera, it's actually built a lot of excitement, and I just think it's just a fun thing to do. So it's not going to be all about the camera, but I want to show you some things that have been possible over the years, and it's going to be really, really cool. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes people look at photographs and they think it's so complicated. I've learned to shoot in any environment because we have to. When you photograph a wedding, you're photographing people with different skin types, height differences, challenging faces, challenging bodies, mother-in-laws that don't really love the son-in-law, the daughter-in-law, whatever it is, bad weather, church ladies that are freaking everybody out. I mean, it's a tough gig. So anyway, I've learned to shoot and make things look like a studio in pretty much a lot of environments. If you look at this shot, I was doing some shots with a new Nikon Z7. I was given the camera a couple of months ago. I said, Jerry, go play, have some fun, have some fun. This was my makeup artist. This was the makeup artist's husband. And I'm like, I'm shooting all these models. He comes around. I'm like, this guy looks like Game of Thrones extra. I have to photograph him. I had 5 minutes. So if any of you know the Omega Reflector 360, I actually invented it. It's the world's first 15-in-1 reflector. The hole in the donut, basically, the little mini reflector inside it, I used as flags or gobos. I cut away light from both sides of his face. And the cool thing was we ended up with a really, really cool portrait with him. Now here's the thing, guys. I was using the macro seamlessly with the FTZ adapter, and what I love about the new mirrorless is that you've got 90% coverage of the focus points. So you know when you focus and recompose and shoot with a macro lens or a 1.4 lens and you're out of focus. So you have to sort of guess the plane. Now I can just move that focus point and go right where I want to. Now here's the thing. With a new Nikon Z7, you've actually got the pinpoint focus. The pinpoint focus, I want to focus on the glass of the eye and the eye socket. For me, that's where it appears like it's in focus. Now, if you focus on the eyelash, sometimes the eyeball looks out of focus, so that's going to be a tough gig as well. So you just got to work out what's going to be best for you. Then, let me just go close for a second. This was a screen grab of 100% crop right in Photoshop. I've never seen that kind of clarity like that quickly. I was actually involved in the Nikon D850 campaign last year, and it was so much fun. But to be able to play with the Z7, I'm telling you, it just was a lot more fun again. Then I thought to myself, I've got to get him angry. I've got to get him like ready to kill someone. We did this.
1, 2, angry brow.
Isn't that fun? What you can do when you drop a chin of a guy, he looks like he's about to kill you. You do it with a woman, it's more of a come hither look, so it depends on what you want. See, if I'm looking at you right now, and if you were the camera, and I was the guy, and I had small eyes, and you wanted to make my eyes appear larger, first of all, get my turtleneck out, whoop, chin down, but you see how I'm bordering between angry and serial killer? You got to be careful about that. With a woman, and she does it, it's a bit softer and a bit more inviting, it's a bit sexy, so it depends on what you like. So then I decided to actually do a whole bunch of shoots to test out the capabilities of the camera. This next one, it's a running joke in our family, is Melissa bought me this 4-foot fan that I had to use last year at the D850 campaign, never used it, and it's huge. It takes up space. I'm like, I'm finally going to use it. So what you're about to see now is a fashion shot with a 7-foot octobox and the fan that we never used, and take a look. Not that one, this one.
No brow pressure for you, darling, but just give me that very sensual, beautiful, like you're enjoying the wind. This is your time, okay? All right, you ready? Over here. Relax that arm again. Let's get you in position. Okay, give me abs, 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 abs. Strong brow pressure from you, mate. Again, beautiful. Hold it there.
Oh my goodness! That's
So cool. Oh, that's
sick.
I find more important, guys, than light, it's really shadow. People think light is actually the most beautiful thing or the most important thing in a photograph. I believe it's where you subtract it. You know, many of us, what we do is we tend to lean towards the obvious. We have a window here, we turn the bride or the subject towards the window, we make her look bigger and broader. With a female form, I will turn her body away from the light until I get a shadow in the middle of the cleavage, middle of the dress. Then I'll pose her. So if she stands flat-footed and flat to the camera, I'm shooting her at her widest. And if I have to shoot her on the front, I at least have the light come from the side. But what I typically do is turn the body away from the actual light, point the toe, slide the heel back in, bend the knee, shift the butt back, shoulders back, bust forward, and turn the face towards the light. This forms a foundation pose for most females. Now, would I photograph a 12-year-old girl like this? No, it also has to be purposeful. I'm saying an adult, if she wants to look good, that's the foundation pose. for a 12-year-old girl, I might want her to look feminine and cute, but not overly sexy for her age. So I might just do this. Just put one over. A corporate female CEO executive. If I do this, it might look a bit too sexy for a corporate female CEO. So I want her to look feminine but strong. So I might get her to hold her hands like this. So this is the way you pose hands, by the way. People wonder about how to pose female hands. You just put them on here. So everyone do this for me. Everyone show me your hands. All right, do this. Spirit fingers. Okay, now put your hands flat on your biceps. Now mirror exactly what I do. Ready? Roll your wrists around. This is how I pose hands. Now you might say, is that how you pose hands? Yes. Because if ever I forget, that's the way she'll actually hold a glass. That's the way she'll hold her veil. Basically, it should never be this. It should be this, but bent, and just totally relax the hands. So I would probably put one knee over for a female corporate CEO executive, right in the camera, strong. Feminine, but strong. That's what we want. So purposeful posing and lighting really means that you actually either have to be flattering and or it has to help communicate the message that you are trying to convey to the viewer. Make sense? What you're about to see now, guys, is a photograph. This makeup artist was just beautiful. And I'm waiting for the model to come. I'm like, you don't look that beautiful and we're not taking a photo of you. So we did. That's that one, of course. I mean, when your makeup artist looks that edgy and that really cool, I mean, and she's got blue nails, all that kind of stuff. But again, I love the fact that I've never been so confident in photographing at 1.4. Who shoots at 1.2, 1.4? Who does that? And who struggles to get one in focus out of the 20? So I'm saying it happens to the best of us. What I suggest you do is take your time, breathe in, take the photograph, and then you can slow down, you can zoom up and look at it. It actually is just an easy way to shoot. All right, let's have a look at this next one. I wanted to test out the dynamic range and do we get details in shadows and detail in highlights and shoot in full sun, and it just worked beautifully. It has an incredible dynamic range. At the end of the day, the cameras these days are just so sophisticated that really, if you get a bad shot, it's always been your fault. Do you know what I mean? We've got everything at our disposal. It's like having all the ingredients in the kitchen and then you basically screw it up and you've got the recipe there already. But obviously, practice, repetition, experience will always be your best teacher, as we said. If you look at this, so I live in Las Vegas for most of the year, in Australia for a couple months of the year as well, and I thought we've got to go a bit of Cirque du Soleil, have a bit of fun. We focus on the eye close to the camera. Deliberately, I left that one out of focus because we want to create an illusion of depth, but if you look close up at 100% crop, it's crazy how much detail. Look at her skin, it's like leather. I mean, well, I guess leather is skin, right, when you think about it. It just depends on what you want to do and what you want to shoot. But I love the fact that we can see now what we're doing in our cameras before we even take a photograph. I wanted a reflection. So she had her hair tight in a bun. I let it all out. I needed a contrasty area behind her reflection to see that reflection. But this is really cool. Why? Because now we have a 16:9 crop in camera. We have a 16:9 crop in camera. So what I do is, I'm very deliberate with my cropping. I do not like to just shoot wide, hope for the best, and then worry about it afterwards. In other words, if I see the shot in square, I will shoot square crop. If I see it in a 4:5, I will see it there as well. Make sense? Now, if you like what you're seeing and you want me to continue for the next 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to ask something of you. Is that okay? So on the count of 3, you are going to clap, cheer, and freak out. If you do that, I will continue my presentation. This will not only wake you up, everyone will hear the cheers and freaking out and think, what the hell's going on? Something amazing. And then all of a sudden, we're going to triple our crowd. Are you ready? So on the count of 3. Stop it. Stop it. Hey, man. Although that was induced, I will take it. I will take it. All right. But this one, you see a slightly different crop, negative space on the foreground. All of a sudden, it becomes a completely different photograph. I believe cropping is probably the #1 thing that people don't do to provide impact to their photographs. When you, tell me this, do most of you, before you even get out of bed, you're thumbing through Facebook and Instagramming, wondering why you suck and why everyone else is amazing. Can I remind you that everyone will only post their best images? Do not think that that person is capable of that kind of photograph all the time, unless you're Dave Black or Joe McNally. It just won't happen. I'm saying, like, this kind of stuff, It's fun. It's just play. You are saying something different every single time. All right, let's keep on going here. What I love, again, the 90% focus point range in the new Z7 and the Z6. The fact is that I can photograph this. It's a 16 by 9 crop, mind you, 16 by 9 crop. I can focus on her eye very cleanly and very easily, change my focus on her ring, like very quickly, very easily, and all of a sudden, it makes my life easier. It's more fun. I get to the destination a bit more quicker and more efficiently. And that's what it's all about. So people have asked me, Jerry, will this make you a better photographer? Well, no piece of gear will make you a better photographer, but it's made me more efficient. And it's actually brought a lot. I'm always joyful when I shoot, but it's made it more fun for me. So I love it. It's really, really fun. Okay, let's keep on going here. And again, loving the fact that I can use a 20-year-old lens. Back when I shot with my Nikon FM2, I can use that seamlessly with the FTZ adapter, and then all of a sudden I've got any lens that I want. So don't forget that there is, now what we've done is, Nikon are not the first pro mirrorless camera system to be out there, but they're the first to be out there with 350 plus lenses with a 101-year history. That's pretty amazing. At the end of the day, you do what fits right, do what works well, but remember, it's you are the artist. The camera is only a tool. All right, let's keep on going here. I love playing with crops. So I love putting things out of focus. And again, this was photographed with my 105mm, seamlessly with the FTZ adapter. And again, 100% crop is really, really cool. All right, let's keep on going here. Guys, what I love is that there's got 20 new picture styles. The picture styles now, the sepia is actually not true sepia. It's not monotone. It actually reduces, it actually takes away the saturation, puts a bit of sepia. So now we have a desaturated bronze tone in this particular stuff. So out of camera, you can get a really clever, really, really cool look. Of course, if you shoot raw, you can go any way you want, but this actually works really, really well. All right, let's have a look at this one. This was a tough shot. So we put a translucent diffuser on all these panels. Light was actually, I used my SB5000 with the wireless control, that little tickle of light on her face. And how important is it that we get his face cleanly silhouetted between those lines and those lines? How important is those fingers that are delicate? How important is it that we actually have that gap between her arm as well, and that to create motion? Everything that is done in your camera is going to help contribute to the message you're trying to convey. Rather than when I started, it was just stand there and open the door and look at each other. That's what I'm talking about. The next level of sophistication is so important to us to do. All right, let's keep on going here. So this was photographed at a wedding a few weeks ago. So the cool thing is, the biggest epiphany that I had when I was photographing was not only can I see the exposure live, so I can see the exposure live, I can change my crop factor, change my ratio, everything whilst keep my eye to the camera. And what I've done with my right hand is I have the two function buttons. The top function button, I have my menu. So I've got my eye to the camera, function button, change crop factor, change ratio, change to black and white. The next one, I can press preview. My AF on button, I can 100% magnification and focus right on what's going on. This is me photographing movement. This shows you how great the autofocus works. So this is them walking towards the camera. Every time you see it black out, that's actually when it's, that's photographing. Isn't that fun? All right, let's keep on going. So there's the actual shot that we took. Out of camera, no Photoshop yet in that particular one. So this is me going from a 1:1 crop. I'm like, wait a second, I want to go 16 by 9, zoom up close, focus, take a shot. That's how quickly it can be done whilst putting your eye to the camera. But how cool is that? Isn't that fun? It just makes it fun, whereas normally you would take a shot, put your camera down, with your left hand, press play. Do that, and now you keep engaged. So if your model or your subject's in front of you, and they're like, what's going on? Because you're putting your head down, they're sitting on top of your head all the time, I can just keep my eye up there. They maintain their energy because they feel like the photograph's about to happen again. But that's what's fun about this particular shot as well, that area. But for me, guys, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. The ability to actually create these moments. And you might say, well, Jerry, you were lucky, they were emotional. No, it doesn't work like that. In fact, what I actually did is I might say a few words before the bride and the father see each other. So I might say something like this. It might be, back to back. So the dad's facing away, the bride's facing away, they're back to back. And I might say something like, remember, although your father has always been the first man in your life, but now he'll be the second, you'll always be daddy's little girl. And I can soften that and create that energy, and all of a sudden I'm reminding them the importance of the occasion. They turn around, this happens, and this is what it's all about. Not f-stops and shutter speeds. For me, it's about emotion, storytelling, and legacy.
That's just soft. And chin up, mate. So you sort of like, and then turn the face right. Just there. Gorgeous, that move. Stunning. Now, if you can, mate, I know it's a tough position. Just tilt the top of your head.
So you are seeing
me.
exactly what I was seeing when I was photographing this.
More. And chin down. That's just there. Turn your face towards me.
Square crop,
More. Chin
beautiful colors out of camera.
face to the right.
You see how he's quite not right? I wanted a bit of a sexy shot, top of the head towards the camera,
That's it.
looking really softly, beautifully into her lips, focusing on her eye. I haven't taken the shot yet. When I finally take the shot, it just works. Now we get a triple reflection. It's really, really fun.
All right, baby.
She chose a location that was outside. We photographed the groom's coverage. It rained the whole day.
Relax a little bit. Hey, baby, can you get those guys out of the way?
So you'll hear me say in a second, you know, after you see this photograph, you would wish that it would rain all day. There were some streakers in the background. I changed my picture control to black and white. I'm using pinpoint focus to focus on her eye. You see how he's got masculine light, she's got feminine light, and then we get that shot. Isn't that beautiful? And the tree framing them beautifully, all that kind of stuff. Then I saw something different. The clouds were over the valley. I thought I must get a higher vantage point and do the following. Have a look. All right, guys, give me a second. All right, guys, hold it there. Hey, Joe, I'm going super wide here. I need you more this way. Yeah, you're fine. Now, hold each other, rest your head on his shoulder and look that way. That's it. So basically, guys, pretend like you're looking at the view, which you are, which is nothing there, but that's fine. That's it. Yeah, take the umbrella away, baby. We'll do a couple with or without. Yeah, just there. Just says fine. Perfect. Just there. A bit up. The
Gorgeous, guys.
Okay.
Arms around each other, looking outwards. Put all your weight. Just switch your leg. That's it. That's it. Good. Perfect. Go again. Perfect, guys. Isn't that fun? Isn't that beautiful? Just so simple, but the clouds turn into an opportunity, and having that vignette in the foreground just framing the photograph, this is one of those classic ones that you put as a talking piece in your home. Now guys, I want to end off today showing you one of my favorite subjects of all time, something that I've actually loved. It was the most fun I've actually had photographing for a very long time. This beautiful girl reached out to me through her mother and said, look, an ex-workshop student said, hey, I've got a 16-year-old girl, red-headed girl, I'd love for you to photograph her. As soon as I saw her, I pictured a young queen. I pictured this young queen mirrored after the, is it Kate Blanchett in the movie Elizabeth. So I photographed her normally. What we did is we actually did a time lapse of her getting made up as the queen. So we had a storyboard of basically how I wanted her done, and then we finally got her done. Now, don't forget, this is a 16-year-old girl. You know, a bit awkward, a bit timid, not feeling right, doesn't feel pretty, although really beautiful. And I want to show you the very, very first photograph. Watch the nuances of her reaction. Watch.
You're like a doll. You are a doll. Flying in the snow. I feel really like. Yes.
Good. Because I know we all like to have a laugh and everything like that, we're going to get the giggles out because we're going to create a mood. So we have to just keep it, I want to keep it regal. Just keep it simple, keep it clean. So let's just be really, really quiet. And even if you get bored, it actually might look good in the photograph. But just run with me here. We've got everything ready to rock. We're just going to test the light a little bit, and then we'll work on some expressions here. So now I want you to stand flat-footed, always flat-footed. Don't sort of put your hip one way or the other. Bring your elbows back a little bit, just your elbows.
You can
That's
see
it,
that
good.
she's
And
almost
just relax it
teasing
down.
me with her look, right? She's
Good.
young.
Just allow
I thought
your
to
hands
myself,
be a
whether
little bit.
she's
Good. Perfect.
tired,
All right,
thirsty,
guys, so we're
angry,
shooting for real
whatever,
now.
it's
Let's
going to
start.
work in the photograph because that's what a queen would do. Queen's not going to be scared to show her emotion. Watch this.
Awesome.
So after I tested the actual shoot, this was the first expression that I got. And here I'm looking in the camera, seeing the photograph for the first time.
So good.
And I giggle like a little girl because it was just so much fun. So here I am thinking, all right, I got gold already. I want to go further. Let's see what we can get. So that's the one. What she was looking at, the mother was actually looking at her pearl saying something's wrong, but her face was like, Mum. She looked back, and of course, because the strobes have a longer recycle time, I had to wait. I'm like, I'm not going to prematurely articulate. I'm going to wait a little bit, and then I finally got the shot that I wanted. Let's see the next one.
Leave that hand there. With this hand, just right up. That's it. That's it. Good. Now bring this hand out. This one up. Bring it down. And then again, bring the elbow in. That's it. And a little bit more out this way. More. Good. Beautiful. Pretend like you're shushing. It's just, that's it. Yeah. So just put your fingers a bit closer to you. That's it. There you go. That's perfect. Don't move. I want a feeling that you're doing that to a child. So it's very soft. It's very, like you're regal, but you're being a little bit mischievous with the child. Yes. And actually make the sound because it'll help the expression. Shh. Serious. Go for it. Just go. And eyes at me.
See, it took a while to get that shot, but I think many of us, and especially in the early part of my career, maybe you're the same, is that you get a bit anxious, you get a bit nervous, and then you photograph too quickly and you forget to connect with the client. Now, this girl, you could see she was bordering on royalty. Like you could see when I got her in that motion, it was fantastic, but then I'd be reminded, this is a 16-year-old awkward girl, right? Doesn't fit to her skin properly yet. Let's keep on going. We've got some more photographs to show you. Have a look. So we changed our lighting. Before there was one softbox for her. We cut away the light on the side, and then we used a beauty dish on the top to have as a hair light and as the background. Now we have one beauty dish with a reflector and then an actual light for the background. I knew this shot was going to happen all day. I was just waiting for it. She was going to get tired. It was always going to happen.
Regal, strong woman. That was awesome.
Is that fun? So here I am looking into it.
So good.
So I love the fact now that I can see the photograph in the viewfinder, especially when you're outdoors photographing in the sun. It's really, really tough, right? So you can photograph, look inside, enjoy the photograph, keep on going. But it's made photography just that next level of fun. That's what I love about it. Let's keep on going. I don't know whether she's yawning actually or whether she's doing opera, but it's either way, it's really fun.
Bring your chin down, Dal. So chin up, chin forward. So whoop, and down. That's
So
it.
now no
Straight
reflector, just one beauty dish
And eyes down.
on top of her.
Tilt this way.
So I want to use the rough as a reflector just to tickle her face, but get that drama of the shadows of the beauty dish right above her.
More that way.
So the key is to have her chin below so that beauty dish does not hit her forehead or her face. Make sense? You'll have a see in a minute.
Give me a bit more of a bit more mischievous look.
See, here I'd be photographing a pose. Now I'm photographing a moment, don't you think? Now, the most fun I've actually ever had, I've told you at this shoot, was not only actually photographing, but was seeing her reaction to the photographs. I'm sure you're like that, right? You know that you have, you know when you think you're brilliant, and you're like, oh my God, and you show everybody, like just, we overdo it, we do. But this case, this girl, you knew she was just, needed some confidence, and she came in saying, I'm not beautiful. The mother saying, well, you're beautiful. Well, a mother says you're beautiful, that's her job to say it, but you're not going to believe it from a mother. This was her reaction to seeing her photographs for the very first time. Watch this. Before we do that, guys, just quickly, for those of you who don't know, I run a training website. So if you go to Ghionis.com, you can see that entire shoot if you want to. So go to Ghionis.com, and part 1 and part 2 is live right now. So please join me. Watch your reaction, guys. Enjoy this.
Okay. We are done.
You are amazing. I've never seen somebody work that hard for that. Right to the back of that camera. Oh my goodness.
Are you ready? All right, hold on. Are you ready? Come closer.
I feel like it's gonna be like a really scary one where I'm like yawning.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
If you go up, there's detail there. It's just enough detail there to just know what's going on.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's you.
All right.
That doesn't even look
I
like.
know.
All right. Give me a second. Let me. You are so beautiful.
I might cry actually.
You should cry. Check that out.
I really stop. I don't want to cry.
It's amazing. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Are you making me cry? Look, I'm all misty now myself.
I actually do. I think this is like. I never felt better about myself.
Oh.
Like in a photo shoot.
You are so beautiful.
Check that
and
out.
So awesome.
Look at you.
I can't believe that's me.
Look at that. Just even the moments between moments, like.
Oh my goodness. I'm just like.
I love that.
That is such a good shot.
I just feel pretty. So. I actually feel like a princess.
You're a queen. You're not a princess.
I'm a queen.
And I want you to keep that crown
Yes,
as
that belongs to you.
I want you to keep it so you remember this shoot.
Oh no, I don't.
Come on, just give me a hug.
Oh, that crown, Claire.
It's your crown, okay?
You made that yours.
Thank you so much. Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay, I'm fine.
So
Give me a hug, Mum.
So- Thank you, guys. Sometimes we totally forget what we do as photographers and why we do it. At the end of the day, we do it for reactions like that, to immortalize moments, people, and families, and create a legacy and create history for something that will outlive us. Thank you so much for your time. Stay tuned for Joe McNally, one of the greatest and prolific photographers of our time. He'll be up next. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nikon Ambassador Jerry Ghionis, but we are going to make a quick transition to Joe McNally. So grab your seats. If you're going to go away, there's seats opening up.